Greetings, my name is James Washington, and welcome to our latest segment of CASA Cares, where we, Richmond County CASA, endeavors to bring you, our volunteers and viewers, different and unique perspectives of the world we live in. Today, we have the pleasure of having Slim, who is the local president of an organization called BACA. BACA is an acronym that stands for Bikers Against Child Abuse. So, without any further ado, and with our full attention, here is Slim.
All right, my name's Slim. I'm the president of the Midlands Bikers Against Child Abuse. We are a new chapter here, just got started, and we are the first one in South Carolina. And who are we? BACA, of course, always brings up a lot of questions, and with that, I'll just start by reading the mission statement. It kind of explains a lot. Bikers Against Child Abuse exist with an intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is a part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. Now, this was written at the beginning in '95, and when it was first put to paper, it has not had one word, one line changed since then, since '95. It has stayed the same throughout. Now, how BACA got started? BACA was founded by J.P. Lilly, better known as Chief. He's a licensed mental health professional that works with children. It began as an idea to help one wounded child. This child was 8 years old at the time and was so frightened of his perpetrators that he would not leave his residence. Chief, having had a kind and loving experience with bikers in his youth, was moved to include this boy in his biker circle of friends. Within weeks, this boy was seen all over town riding his bike and playing with other children. The idea to rally the biker community in defense and support of children was actualized in 1995 when the first ride was held to visit wounded children and adopt them into a biker family. The first ride had 27 bikes present. When they first went to see this little boy, he wouldn't even come out of the house to greet him. He was so scared to go outside. After they left, they got a phone call finding out that that child was out riding his bike, telling all his friends and neighbors that who had come and visit him. And later on, the parent had called and said that was the first night the little boy had slept all night long. So it definitely was seen as something that would work with these children. From there, it was only a matter of time before the word spread quickly about what was happening in Utah. Shortly after forming this first chapter in Utah, another chapter was formed in Utah, then Oklahoma, then Texas, and the rest is part of BACA history. To this day, we are now international. We have chapters in Australia, Italy, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Now we have a new one in Canada. We're in all but about, I believe, 9 states. Some states have one chapter, some have as many as 26 chapters like Texas. So it has grown a lot since 1995. How BACA works. BACA is contacted by a parent or guardian who is often referred by DCFS, CGCs, or other state agencies like the police or even church leaders, etc. These referrals can come from, again, parents, guardians, or even agencies. The case is evaluated and verified to be in the legal system. The chapter child liaison contacts the family and an initial ride is organized to meet the child at their home or in some other safe, comfortable location. Now, on the cases being in the legal system, now there are times we get phone calls from a parent or guardian and they just don't know what to do. We direct them to get a report filed with either any local agency, whether it be the police, DSS, or anybody that could help, get a report filed. While that's being done, we will do the rest of this, which is set up a meet and a ride and go visit the child. At this, the entire BACA chapter rides to meet the child and adopt them into the BACA family. Again, that's just bringing them into our family, letting them know we're all there for him or her. They're given their own vest with an identifying BACA patch, as well as a comfort item such as BACA bear, blanket, pillowcase, etc. They are also allowed to pick a road name, like Tinkerbell or Tink or Spider-Man or something like that, something that they like. And that's what we use to refer to them. We don't call them by their real name, we call them by the name that they picked. And the child really likes that. The child is given contact information of 2 BACA members residing geographically closest to them, who then become the child's sponsors and primary contact persons. Members will always be in groups of 2 or more when working with the children. Now these primaries will be a man and woman, and they will stay in contact with that child on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis to see how the child's doing in school with activities. Sometimes we'll give them little challenges to do and succeed, and it works very well. And we'll also schedule other visits to come over and see them. In some cases, if they've done better in school and gotten better grades, we'll come over not to reward them, but to acknowledge that and maybe take them for a ride, go to have an ice cream or something, and bring them back home. Children really respond to that quite well. BACA's interventions have 4 levels. Our first level, level 1, initial adoption we call it, will consist of the organization deploying a ride. Members will never visit a child alone, always 2 or more. On this ride, we will unite as many BACA members as are able to attend. We will ride as a group to the child's home or place of their choosing, where the parents or guardians will be present to assist us in presenting the child with their own BACA vest, BACA bear, blanket, stickers. We have little Band-Aids, little water tattoos that say BACA, a lot of different things. And in some cases, we will also take a Polaroid photograph of the child with his or her new biker family. We will leave this photograph with the child, that if anytime the child is afraid, it is our hope that the child will use the photograph as a comfort to convey the message, I am not alone and you don't want to mess with my family. So it's kind of children have a lot of fun with that. Now if we have to go to a level 2, BACA intervention level 2 is called the BACA Shield. If level 1 is not sufficient to deter further abuse or harassment, several BACA members will be sent for further exposure. This group of BACA members will create a presence at the home of the child, being visible at times when the family might be the most vulnerable. The purpose of the BACA presence is to deter further abuse and to protect the child and the family if necessary. A lot of times this is necessary when the child's too afraid to go to sleep. And we will do that and hang out and stay there, let the child sleep. A lot of times members will stay all night, be there when the child gets up. If they're too afraid to walk down to the school bus, we'll accompany them, walk with them. A lot of things we can do to just help them, give them back their space and not have them be afraid in the world in which they live. Now when it goes to level 3, this is a letter to the PERT. If the physical presence of our BACA members at the residence of the child home does not deter the abuser, a formal letter will be drafted by the chapter president or vice president in the area in which the abuser lives. This letter will be written on the BACA letterhead. The substance of the letter will be to explain to the alleged perpetrator that we are prepared to take whatever steps are necessary to become an obstacle for further abuse. This is usually enough to let them know we're there and just stay away and let the courts decide what needs to happen. Now, the last level is a level 4, Neighborhood Awareness Ride. While it's against the purpose of BACA to purposely engage an alleged perpetrator, we will ask for a general geographical location of an offender and conduct a neighborhood awareness ride in which we will go door to door letting people know who we are and why we are there, handing out stickers to kids, little tattoos, Band-Aids, balloons, distribute literature regarding our mission, which are the brochures on how BACA functions. If by any chance the location or the address of the alleged perpetrator becomes known to any BACA member, we immediately withdraw our physical presence to avoid any contact. BACA does not condone, support, or participate in the use of aggression, violence, or physical force in any manner. If, however, any person should seek to inflict harm on one of our BACA members, of course, we respond to the commitment and loyalty to protect our members and our children. Now, BACA has a patch that they wear on their back. It's similar to this, or what's on my briefcase there. And with that, the different colors of these patches in the biker community always have a different meaning. White means the innocent of the children. Red is the blood of the children that has been spilled. Fist is the opposition to child abuse. The skull and crossbones, or known sometimes called the Jolly Roger, is our commitment to the death of child abuse, to the end of child abuse, period. The chains is a representation of our united organization. So that's the meaning of our colors that will be worn by all our BACA members on their back, on the patch. Now, members of BACA come from all walks of life. All of them must pass an NCIC federal background check. They're child advocates with big hearts, volunteers who give as much as they can, and they only discriminate against one type, and that's child abusers. When our kids feel afraid, BACA responds. With that, that's just what I said. If they're too scared to go to sleep or too scared to go somewhere to the park to play, this is the void we fill where agencies and police cannot fill. We will go to that child with as many members as we can, hang out with them, play video games if that's what they want to do. If they want to go across the street or to a park to play, we'll accompany them, let them play with their friends and have fun, bring them home. All this is to let them know that they have the support of a united family, and they feel this, they respond to it, and they become not being afraid in the world in which they live anymore. This is what we do. In the community, BACA is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are not an MC or a vigilante group. We do not hunt down alleged perpetrators, and we do not advocate revenge. Does not threaten or get even with the alleged perpetrator. We have nothing to do with any of that. We're there for the child and only for the child. BACA is not just another charity organization. We're 100% volunteer, not one compensated member in BACA. Members and supporters must all again pass an NCIC background check. They all must ride with a BACA chapter for a minimum of 1 year before eligible for membership. Sometimes this could be up to 2 years, and it's a unanimous vote from all members. No dues are from the members. We don't collect any dues. It doesn't cost anything to be a BACA member. We want you to be actively involved in our communities, conduct child abuse awareness events, provide basic needs and therapy when needed, and we fill a void between justice system and child. BACA works in conjunction with local law enforcement, local court systems, child protective services, and child advocates. Why there is a need, and this is some stats, and these are about 8 years old, and I know it is more than this today, but some stats. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. 70% of all abuse cases involve children under the age of 10. 1,500 children die every year from child abuse and neglect. I think that's closer to 2,500 now. For every reported case of child abuse, 3 more remain unreported. Again, that's where BACA helps and comes involved. An estimated 906,000 children are victims of abuse and neglect every year. 2/3 of registered sex offenders were convicted of child abuse against children. There are over 500,000 registered sex offenders living in the United States. This does not include those who have not yet been released back into our communities. 60% of sex offenders are on either parole or probation. Over 36.5% of all women in prison and over 14.5% of all men in prison were abused of children themselves. This is another part we call breaking the chains. As we are involved with these children and going through their ordeal that they had and helping them grow and get away from that and grow as an individual. Again, we call it breaking the chains of abuse. These children grow up to be active adults in their communities. Some of them have grown up to be firemen, policemen. Some of them have grown up and joined BACA themselves. After the age of 18, they can become a BACA member. So our children have grown up not being abusers themselves because of the assistance and involvement from BACA. 1/3 of abused and neglected children will later abuse their own children, continuing the horrible chain of abuse. That's, again, what I was just talking about. We're there to break that chain of abuse. Why there is a need. Emotionally, children experience many powerful emotions as a result of abuse. They frequently blame themselves for the trauma that they have experienced and the impact it has on their family. Victims of child abuse also experience increased anxiety and fear. This often disrupts their sleep, appetite, and ability to function. A majority of the victims of child abuse experience lifelong difficulties with personal relationships. They also become easily depressed and experience a low self-image, and many experience uncontrollable anger and or depression. Some of the behavior symptoms, hostility, stealing, tantrums, aggression, delinquency, dependencies, self-abuse where they cut themselves or something like that, disassociation from family and friends, substance abuse, behavior regression. Of course, there's, I'm sure, many more after that. What you can expect. After the initial visit from BACA offers continuing support. We frequently follow up with the child and ensure that they maintain a positive path forward. BACA also attends court and parole hearings and key events in the child's life, such as birthday parties and sometimes Christmas parties. BACA sponsors activities such as an annual Christmas party for our children and maintains a therapy assistance fund for the children's therapy and recovery needs. This is very important. Since BACA was started by a therapist, all chapters have set aside a therapy fund. A lot of these cases, the children can't get therapy, the court doesn't appoint any therapists or pay for therapists for them, nor can they afford therapists, because sometimes they're placed in a foster care or with a parent or a guardian like a grandparent, and they just can't afford that therapy. If it is found necessary and that child would benefit from a therapist, BACA will step in and use their funds to pay for that therapy and help that child. So that's a very important thing that we do that a lot of other agencies can't do. We bring a whisper of hope and a ray of light into their darkness. We dip down into the children's pain, hold them and offer them what we have learned through the years and many miles on the road, our love, loyalty, and commitment. We make a difference. A wounded child who has had BACA intervention is most likely to disclose his or her abuse and testify against their abuser. In a lot of cases, this is very important. They open up and want to talk and, again, tell what happened and tell the police or the DSS agencies what had happened to them. We help a child's healing, self-worth, and confidence. We have observed many positive changes in our children. Diminished regression, improved confidence, better communication, increased independence, increased interaction, increased stability, less hostility, reduced anxiety, sense of safety, reduced guilt, that's a very important one, empowerment, and quicker healing. I've been personally, was involved with a couple girls where we were involved with 3 sisters, and we really seen the difference change from the first visit where they had their heads down, wouldn't even give us eye contact, to where 2-3 visits later, they were running out of the house greeting us. They were happy. They were active in school events. They were joining music classes. They had gone from failing in class, D's and F's, to achieving honor roll status and beyond. So I personally have seen what BACA's involvement has done with these children. And this is a little something. To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world, and that's how we look at it. That's basically who we are, what BACA does for these children, how we interact with them. If we do get a phone call, again, a lot of times I get asked, how do you get referrals? Does it come from agencies? Sometimes yes, but a lot of times it's just a phone call from a parent or a guardian or an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent. And we get involved at the beginning, maybe before any reports have been filed. And then we encourage them to get that report filed, and we move forward with that child and help him or her get through that, grow, not be afraid anymore. It definitely helps. It definitely helps. We are the first chapter in South Carolina. We have been granted what they call temp chartership from International, and now we can conduct BACA business, which means we have our hotline number, we have our P.O. box, we have our bank account. We've already had some fantastic folks that have contributed to our funds and donated some money already. And we've already gotten 4 referrals. And in one of them, we're going to go see pretty soon. It will be an intervention, a level 1. And this little girl is just so excited to see us and meet us. She's 6, lives a few hours away. And again, we cover the whole state. So it doesn't matter where they are, we'll go to them. She's a few hours away, and she's excited to meet us. We'll be going up and presenting her teddy bears and a vest, and she's picked a road name, which is really cute, and we will move forward with her with another follow-up visit that she's already requested in April to come pick her up from her school. And the grandparents that she is with is working with the school to make this happen, so we can come pick her up on the motorcycles and drive her through the town and let everybody be aware of that we're there for her. Her biggest fear is being taken away or stolen at night. That's her biggest scare. And her parent has already tried to contact her at school, and by doing this, this is the little girl thinking this will keep them away by us making a presence there. And this is before we've even gone. So you can already see the impact it has, and it will continue to have. So I feel BACA is a very, unfortunately, a very necessary tool to have right now in our world.
How could someone join your group as a member?
To become a member, first you give me a call. I will invite you to our meetings. The meetings are open to the public. We hold them once a month. It's on our webpage. You can go to bacaworld.com and go to contact us. Go to the state that you're in. Contact that state. It has all the information there. You can get an email or a phone number to call and contact. And in our case, we have our meeting place, date, times, and you're more than welcome to come to the meeting. From there, we'll invite you back, visit with you, find out a little bit about you, and move on from there. After a month or so, we'll arrange to have fingerprints taken and go on from there. Again, it doesn't cost anything. It's being involved with us, being around us, and it starts out as being a supporter, and once you've been around fingerprints, it takes 1 year to 2 years before you earn full membership. And that's guarded very closely, because when you're given that patch, that patch, even though we can do what we do without it, it helps us do what we do. And it becomes a symbol to the children that the person wearing that patch is a safe person. So that's very important to us. That's why the NCIC federal background check, and that's why we want you to be around us for a year to 2 years before we allow you to have that. But during that time, you can come with us on rides. Once the fingerprints have come back, you can come on a level 1 with us. So that's basically the involvement to become a member. Have the heart. I always tell people I want a little bit of your time and a whole lot of your heart.
Okay. Suppose a listener or a volunteer wants your group to participate to work with a particular child. How would that process go? A referral.
A referral?
Yes.
The referral will first come in and go to our helpline or hotline. It goes to our child liaison. Every chapter has a child liaison. In our case, we have a lady that has adopted in her life, I believe it was 14, maybe it was 18 children, that came from all different walks of abuse. And she raised them, gone to court with them, been through all that with them. She's our, it was really a no-brainer to pick her as our child liaison. The call comes to her first. She then filters that call, talks to them, visits with them, find out a little bit about the situation. Then she'll contact the president, the local chapter president, and they'll have a conversation about it. Then they take that to the board. The board will consist of the child liaison, the president, vice president, security, and secretary of that chapter. That board will talk about it and make sure it is the case that BACA can be of some help to that child. And once we vote that in, then we will make the initial contact and go forward with the child from there, with the parent or guardian. And if they're, again, not a report file, we will encourage them to get those reports filed with the local agencies, whether it be DSS or the local police department.
How successful is your organization being in breaking that stigma of bikers?
Well, the Hollywood, thanks to them, there is that of bikers, and we use that. We use that for our children. It helps bring that fear, I guess, to some folks, the perpetrators mainly, and that's what we want to use, because I've heard this term thrown out there a few times, how successful we would be if we were golfers against child abuse or something like that. So having the bikers and the things that have happened in Hollywood over the years, it helps. And again, it does hinder in some ways when we're trying to break down those walls with the different agencies. But now, like for me, and being involved with BACA for quite a few years, and I helped start a chapter in Nevada and grow it there, and then now I've moved here and done it. Now with me, we have tools we can rely on. I got so many chapters that I can get letters of references from. You can read about from different agencies, different sheriff's departments, different DA departments, all kinds of other agencies, including CASA, that will give letters of referral to let everybody know what we have done and how we have helped these children. So it's sometimes hard, and I welcome that. That's okay with me, because on the other hand, it helps us do what we do for that child, and that's the main objective, is to help that child not be afraid in the world in which they live. And being a biker and having that really helps them, and helps keep that other person away, or persons. So.
And cut. Perfect. Greetings, and again, thank you. You have just experienced another CASA Cares. We want to take the opportunity to thank Slim for his time, for his outstanding work, and be sure to join us next month for another CASA Cares a Moment. This is James Washington with Richland County CASA.